Hello, people of the internet. My name's Isaiah.
And my name's Matt.
And welcome back to the Mildly Ignorant Podcast, Unlucky 13.
Woo!
We're going to get tons of technical issues this episode. I feel it, Matt.
I know. I was literally thinking about that like the whole time. I was like, what's going to happen this time?
Unlucky 13, here we go. We're going to get clapped. Our Audacity's going to break. Our Discord's going to disconnect. Our computers are going to crash.
World War III.
The raw footage is going to upload instead of our edited version somehow. It's going to find ways to fuck everything up.
It's just going to be one of our audios the whole time.
Just one of our tracks speaking into the void. Like we're fucking some schizophrenic person.
I've been thinking, because like, didn't people used to do podcasts by themselves? Like, is that what it is? You're just talking to yourself
Yeah,
for like an hour?
Yeah, people do solo podcasts. I mean, that's weird, but...
Yeah, they must really have a lot to say.
People don't want to shut the fuck up. You know, those kinds of people that never shut up when you talk to them.
Yeah.
I feel like those people are the ones that do solo podcasts.
I mean, good for them. If I was left alone with my thoughts for an hour, I would probably go insane.
I would personally send you to the asylum, Matt. You cannot be left alone more than an hour.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome. Episode 13. Here we are. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in last week for our episode. What did we talk about? Sloppy. We talked about Sloppy.
Oh, yeah. Cosmic Horror, Sloppy, Pet Peeves, and...
little updates on Travi Patty and Activision Blizzard. And now today, we have a theme for this episode.
Yeah.
I think we're going to stick to one theme. We're feeling a bit nostalgic. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Feeling a bit Nosferatu.
Yeah, a little Nosferatu, yeah. A little nostalgic today. So I think we're going to go down memory lane and talk about our childhood, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our childhood. I think the viewers want to know a little bit more about us. Instead of talking about Travi Patty and all that shit. How much we hate Chris Pratt. But I think it's time to talk about us a little bit. Let's start off a little nice topic, I think. A little positive before we go into the more embarrassing parts of our childhood that we shall not talk about. But we will anyways, because we want views.
That's what we do here.
It's what we do here. And I think you're the one that kind of wanted to talk about it, Matt. You wanted to talk about what we're nostalgic about from our childhood. Like, what do we remember fondly from our childhood?
Yeah. Do you have anything that comes to your mind?
Okay.
Go.
I missed the good old days when video games didn't have microtransactions in them.
We just talked about this.
That's why I didn't want to say it. Back when you could load up that PS2 and play Lego Star Wars free of charge. Well, actually, we pay for the game, but like,
yeah,
man, PS2 was peak era gaming, and it's all downhill from there.
I was a GameCube boy.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone that plays Nintendo when they were a kid ended up gay, Matt.
Everyone who plays Nintendo now is gay.
Yeah, basically.
No, but on the subject of video games, like, I remember renting video games, and like,
same.
It was so much fun. Like, I think I remember renting. The biggest one was like Destroy All Humans when it first came out.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like a cheap little sandbox game, and it's funny they remade it, and I ended up buying it and playing through it and like 100%ing it. But like, I miss being a kid when the simple objectives of video games was just like destroy everything. Like, you didn't have to, like, the gameplay was literally just like playing in this giant sandbox. That was fun.
Yeah,
and then like playing in actual sandboxes as a kid.
And I remember, like, when I went to rent the games, I was a bit of a you know, a bit of a criminal myself when I was a kid, Matt. I rooted my Wii when I was a kid. So all you had to do was like go to the store and like rent games. Like, you could also do it on the computer to like download torrents, but like I'd also go to the store because it's easier. And I'd rent the games, and all you have to do is like put them in your Wii once, and then the software that I did to root my Wii would like burn the game onto the Wii, so I wouldn't need the disc anymore. So I would basically own the game. So I did that with all my Wii games. I remember those days. Back when I had a little Wii, I had like over 500 games on my Wii.
God damn.
I think it was on the Wii that I played Destroy All Humans. Number 2 at least.
Wii?
The second one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the console I played Destroy All Humans on. But yeah, I was a little criminal back then, you know. Back when you could jailbreak your iPod, remember that? Remember that era?
I never had an iPod until I was in high school.
Wow, you fucking
I had to pay for it myself.
bottom class human.
Well, no, this was back when like there was literally a new technology like every month. It was like impossible to keep up. Like I'm surprised my parents did as good as, because like every year I remember getting like whatever video game console me and my brother asked for, and like looking back, I'm like, if things like, I know they like they're more expensive now because of inflation or whatever, but like back then, like so demanding that like both me and my brother had a Game Boy, and then the Nintendo 64, and then like Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, Nintendo DS, and then like actual consoles. Like we had an Xbox, a PlayStation, a GameCube, like PlayStation 2, 360, like Wii U. Like I think actually I paid for the Wii U. Like that was when it was recent enough that I was working that I paid for it myself. But like super thankful for my parents for like managing to keep up with all that technology. Like that's a lot.
Matt's being so thankful.
I mean, it was Thanksgiving is over.
It was American Thanksgiving 2 days ago. Yeah, so we're fine. We're fine.
Well, no, just like think about, because you and I have talked about how expensive games are, but like,
yeah. I mean, like same with me when I was little. Yeah. Like I had all the consoles, and I can see how expensive it was. That's something I'm not nostalgic of, is my brother breaking every single console I've ever owned. But like I remember I got my Game Boy for Christmas one year. That was my first ever like console I think I ever got, was a Game Boy. Yeah. My brother threw it down the stairs in like the first week, so that shattered. My DS, same thing, throw it down the stairs in 1 week, shattered.
See, that's one thing like between you and I where our dynamic is different, is like I'm the shitty younger brother, but like between you and I'm the older one, and you're the older brother.
Yeah, so, but some things never change, man. The dynamic stays the same between brothers.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was gonna say something else though. About video games. I
find it like we're looking back at video games when they first became popular, I want to say, and then like kids nowadays, and like I'm gonna sound like pretentious, but like kids don't know how simple things were back then. Yeah, and like. I don't know. There wasn't Fortnite back then. There wasn't season passes.
There wasn't microtransactions up the yin yang, brought to you by fucking EA Games or EA. Yeah. The DLCs actually gave you extra content and not 5 extra skins.
And they didn't just like unlock stuff that was already on the disc.
Yeah, basically. The good old days of gaming. Fuck, there's something else I wanted to say about gaming before the brother thing. I forget now. Talking about never mind. I completely forgot about it. I give up.
Rip.
Yeah, what else were you nostalgic for then, Matt? If you had an idea of your childhood.
I remember like Christmas time. Like we're coming up. It's like December tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It'll be December by the time this comes out. But like. Just Christmas time in general, I remember like being a sleepy kid and just like admiring the lights, and like my parents would go out to like friends of the families. These were friends. My dad was military, so they were friends that like on the military base. They were our neighbors, and then they stayed friends. And I remember like going to their place, and like I didn't want to be there, right? I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, and like these were old people doing old people things, so I would just like play with their cats and play with their cat toys and like do whatever it fucking took to entertain myself. But I just remember like their house, it always used to smell like hazelnut coffee, and I just remember being sleepy around Christmas time, and the lights were so pretty. And I don't know, it was just,
I don't know if it's because of age or because of like capitalism, but I don't know, Christmas doesn't feel the same anymore.
No, it doesn't.
And
I think like the traditions have changed too, right? Like the tradition, and again, gonna sound old and like capitalism, but like whatever happened to just spending time with friends and like I don't know, watching movies and like drinking and eating and being merry? Like why does it have to be about presents, and why does it have to be about like
see, I'm the opposite mentality. I feel like it shifted away from presents to what you just described, and that's what I hate about Christmas. Yeah, like I don't feel like it's the same vibe than when I was a kid. I feel like it's shifted away from that, and it like capitalism has shoved it so far down our throats that like no one cares about it anymore. Like there's no merriness like to it, or like like the joy of it's gone. Like the mystique, not mystique, but like magic of it is gone, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like same with like Halloween, the same thing. I feel like it's with Halloween. Like there's fewer and fewer homes every year after year after year that decorate or like bother doing anything. Yeah. I feel like every holiday in general is just dying. So I'm seeing the opposite of what you're describing.
No, well, that's what I'm saying too.
People are just using the holidays as an excuse to go out and get shit faced and not actually celebrate the holiday.
Yeah. Like I know every year my family, like we watch a few movies. Like we watch the Santa Claus and we watch the animated Grinch and the live action Grinch. And then like by that point everyone's just tired because we've watched like 2.5 movies back to back. But like we always do that like on Christmas Eve, and we don't really do anything like leading up to the point. Like we used to do the Santa Claus parade, but like we don't really have friends in town here anymore, so we don't bother doing stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's also, like, the whole fact of, like I said, just the holidays. They start the holidays, like, way too soon now. Like, it's, like in stores and stuff like that. Like, they shove it down our throats the minute Halloween's over, basically. Even before Halloween, shit's on the shelves. Like, I remember... It's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. And I feel like at some point, they're going to start putting Christmas things out before fucking Thanksgiving's over, even.
Yeah.
Like...
I love Halloween, but even I was exhausted to see, like... all of their Halloween decorations out in September, and then like Christmas decorations out the same week of Halloween when Halloween hasn't even happened yet. It's like I get it that we're all trying to like cling to something because these last couple of years have been an utter hellscape, but at the same time like it's like we're setting ourselves up for like a month. By the time the actual holiday comes around, we're exhausted and like we just want to get it over with.
It's gonna go full cycle. We're gonna get so ahead of ourselves that Christmas stuff is gonna be out for the Christmas of next year after Christmas of this year's over. You know, that's how ahead of themselves they're gonna get to a certain point. It's ridiculous. I feel like it kind of kills the vibe. You know.
Yeah, like
so it's overstaying its welcome, regardless of how big the holiday is. Like any holiday is gonna overstay its welcome if you.
Yeah. December 26th, you're gonna start seeing like Valentine's Day shit out.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, chill out. Like, there's no need for it to be out that early.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna bring it back to childhood. Oh, do you remember like Saturday morning cartoons?
I mean, cartoons played every morning.
No, I know, but like specifically getting up like and not having to go to school and like you get to stay in your PJs and like I don't know, watch SpongeBob or like Batman or whatever was playing at like 9-10 in the morning.
No, I'd get my ass beat if I stayed in my PJs till 10 a.m.
Well, I'm sorry you had an obedient childhood.
But no, I know what you mean, man. I used to, even before school, because we'd wake up at 7 and the bus wouldn't come till like 8:30. We would sit on the couch and watch some Looney Tunes,
so good,
Tom and Jerry, all the other cartoons.
I remember me and my brother would watch the Much Music Countdown. They would play like the top 30 songs with music videos.
Ew.
And then like the bus would come like for the number one song. So it would be a big panic to see like what was number one, and then we'd have to like rush out to the bus.
Is that your nostalgic format? The music countdown that played on the fucking MTV
kind of
channel?
Actually, because it was like I was a kid, but at the same time it was like my way of like my introduction to I don't want to say music, but like an introduction to like pop culture in a sense, because like you could just talk about what music videos charted that week. I don't know. It was lame. Shut up. Leave me alone.
I mean,
I was. Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, talking, like, if you want to talk about lame, like, I was, and still am to a certain degree, like the kind of kid that liked rocks, you know, like that found rocks cool. Like I was that kid. That's what I'm nostalgic for. That's what I liked when I was a kid.
You're nostalgic for rocks.
Yeah, man. I still have a huge box full of like rocks that I collected when I was a kid, and fossils and like minerals and stuff like that.
I was so cringy as a kid.
I mean, you were closeted gay, so what'd you expect?
Yeah, true. Fair. And like, you're probably gonna laugh your ass off. I've never told you this, but I remember once I was playing outside with my brother, and like I said, my dad was military, so we grew up on a military base. So
you're trying to pass the pigskin around with the brother, you know?
Well, no, we were like, it was him playing with his friend, and like I guess I was friends with a couple of guys too, who were like closer to my age. But I just remember one time it was like getting dark or whatever, and like we were all just kind of bored, and we were like, what are we gonna do? This is so embarrassing. And I was like, why don't we have a dance contest?
And that's when Matt knew he was gay.
It was just like, they made fun of me endlessly.
Dance off. So I guess there was no dance competition whatsoever?
No, they just made fun of me and threw me in a ditch.
And they fucking bullied you.
No, the thing was, like, I wasn't. I don't know how to like phrase this. I wasn't like very queer as a kid. Like, I honestly didn't. Like, looking back, you could be like, oh yeah, that kid's definitely gonna grow up.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures of you like when you were younger, and you definitely give me like maybe not queer or gay vibes, but like definitely like weirdo anime kid vibes.
I mean, I've been everything but a jock throughout my like school time. Like I like kind of did it all. Like I remember when I
literally and physically.
Like I wouldn't wear jeans until like 6th grade.
Yes, tell me a story about that. Tell me a story about that.
Okay,
I want to hear this.
I kind of mentioned it at the beginning of last week's episode about like how I had this thing with symmetricality.
Yeah, you fucking OCD freak.
So I would never wear like printed tees or like anything that wasn't symmetrical. I would just wear these like fleece tracksuits. Like looking back, it's so cringe.
I mean, like, did we talk about that? We talked about it last week, right? How I wore like Velcro shoes till like I was like fucking 14 because I couldn't tie my shoes.
I don't know if we like you and I talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, that's my cringy thing was that maybe not till 14, but like definitely like till like I was like 8, 10, I would wear like Velcro shoes because I couldn't tie my shoes. That was my cringy thing.
No, same. I remember I learned how to tie my shoes because we did like rock climbing in grade 9. So like, and then you had to like
Velcro shoes.
No, you had to tie a knot like around your waist to like fasten yourself in or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, it clicked, and I was like, wait, I do this on my feet, and it ties my shoes.
Wow, amazing.
But it also like took me a whole year to learn how to ride a bike.
For me that was fine. For me that was fine.
Actually, I remember it specifically because like both. It was like the same time each year my grandparents would come and visit from Nova Scotia. And one year I remember they were like, I can't remember. It was probably my parents bought me a bike, and I was on it, and I just wasn't getting it. Like I was struggling to learn how to ride a bike, even with training wheels or whatever. And then I remember the next year, my grandparents were like, so excited to see me ride a bike for whatever reason. They were like, get on it and go. And then I literally I like hopped on it and like took off down the street. And then I remember they got me, I think it was Pokemon Yellow for doing that. For learning how to ride my bike.
I think Pokemon Yellow was the first. No, wait. Gold. Gold is the game, right? Pokemon Gold. Is that the game?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first ever Pokemon game I played. But anyways, that's sidetracking.
Yeah.
Is there something? Here's the question. Maybe because obviously we outgrow lots of things that we liked when we were a kid. But is there something that you still like that you liked as a kid, like a hobby or a pastime or whatever, that's not video games or men?
I mean, not really like a hobby, but I remember like getting a job for the first time and like working. I was like, wait, I have my own money. I can like buy whatever I want. And I just got this like sense of power where I was like, I don't have to, like, I can do what I want. So I would just buy pizza Lunchables and like not feel any shame about eating Lunchables, because I was like, I remember like eating the shit out of these as a kid and I loved it, and I have no shame in enjoying them now.
Wow.
But what about you? Do you have any childlike hobbies?
I mean, like lots, like since I'm like obviously studying biology, right? Like that's rooted deep into my childhood of like going out and catching frogs and salamanders and stuff in my yard, and I still do that today. I mean, same with the rocks and minerals and stuff like that. Like I never outgrew that. Because that's like my grandfather. He gave me like this huge like 500-page book from National Geographic on animal behavior. I didn't understand shit, but I'm pretty sure that's what rooted my interest in all that stuff. So that book that I never understood. Well, I understand now because I've read it like when I was older, but like when I was trying to read it as a kid, because I would read books that big as a kid. That's
not even surprised.
No, yeah. Well, that's another thing I guess is reading. I've never outgrew that. Like I still love reading. Like I read Lord of the Rings when I was like in second grade, I think, or first grade. I don't know. I remember.
Yeah. No, that's so great, because I remember like growing up as a kid, I never had passions, and I still don't. Like I still don't. Like I can't. There's not one thing. Yeah, but like, does that really count? Like that's not something I can like build a life around. I mean, I guess I could, but like not in the sense that I'm thinking. Like you and rocks and stuff. Like, yeah, that's a childlike hobby, but like you're now studying that in like post-secondary, and like not rocks, but like bugs and like frogs and like biology, but like that's something that you've always liked, and like you are now moving into a career because of it. Like I don't have anything like that. I've never, like, everything I've picked up as a kid I ended up putting down. There's like, and it's kind of disappointing, but like
being gay can be a career.
Can it? I mean, yeah, I guess in like quite a few different ways.
Yeah. Then being a gay video gamer, let's player is also even more. What's the word I'm looking for? Not beneficial.
Possible.
Not possible career. Yeah. Money. Profitable career.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, but like even then, I like playing games, but like I don't want it to be a career. You know what I mean? Like there's
you don't want to do some gameplay and commentaries.
I mean, no, because the like being, I'm gonna like equate it to like being an influencer or like requiring influence. Like that sucks the fun out of it.
Well, Matt, let's hope our podcast never gets famous.
No, I mean like that would be fine, because like the content we talk about still like it doesn't feel like a job. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, you know, like it's another day, we gotta record the podcast. Like
it's just two bros chatting for an hour.
It's like ask an artist to paint something and then ask them to do it for money. It's a totally different thing, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Like just because you have a hobby doesn't mean it has to be profitable, and like vice versa. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you need to do it as a hobby. That's not a thing.
So did you have a question, Matt? Do you want to keep the conversation going? No? I'll keep going then. There's lots of things we can talk about our childhood about.
Go ahead. I have a lot of anecdotes from when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and spill the beans, man. I'm trying to get them out of you. But do you have any like traumatic events you remember as a kid. I mean, I like very first episode I talked about one when I was a kid getting my iPod stolen, but I have a few other stories that we could talk about. I'm sure, Matt, you have tons of stories.
Oh yeah. The thing is, like, these are traumatic, not in the sense that, like, whatever, I'll just tell them and then the audience can decide. So my grandparents used to own a cottage in Nova Scotia, and both my mom's and my dad's family are all from there, and like my dad ended up moving here in Ontario, so I don't get to see family very often unless like we take a trip down to visit everyone. So whenever we did go down, we would like go to our grandparents' cottage, and like all of the cousins and like aunts and uncles and like everyone, like it would like a big family get together, and it was always fun and amazing. And it was a cottage on a lake, and I remember like just the shit we used to get into. And like I am probably like the poster child when it comes to like, okay, no, my brother would be the poster child when it comes to all the cousins. Like he never did anything wrong. He was the perfect little boy.
Like me.
Yeah. But I remember this one time we were swimming in the lake, and like I at the time was one of the younger cousins, and I wanted to like swim out and like catch up and hang out with my brother and like my older cousins. And then I remember like this one time I like lost my footing, and I was basically starting to drown, and my brother like swam over to me, and he just like, I don't know how he did, I guess his feet were touching the ground but mine weren't, and he just like picked me up and like threw me into like the where the water wasn't as deep. So that was a good memory, but also like, you know, terrifying of drowning. I remember this other time I had a cousin, and I love my cousins so much, but they're fucking wild. And I remember this one time my cousin, like, he was like, oh, I gotta take a shit, and we were all outside. We weren't even far. We were literally just like around back of the cottage, and I was like, okay, so I'll just wait for you here while you go use the bathroom. And then he literally just like pops a squat in the middle of the woods and starts taking a shit in the woods. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, dude, you don't have to do this. And then he just like starts wiping his ass with a leaf, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what kind of animal are you?
We're back to caveman. Return the monkey.
This weird shit kids do. I have so many good memories about the cottage. Too bad it's not there anymore. But like this one time, there were these two baby squirrels, and I don't know for why or how or for whatever reason, but I got a hold of them, and I just had these two baby squirrels like running up and down me, and like I got fleas after. And but like everybody's like, oh my god, like Matt has the baby squirrels on him. And I think I have a picture somewhere. I don't know if I can find it now, but of me and my grandmother, and I have these two baby squirrels on me. And then we had to like spend a good 2 hours like picking the fleas off and killing them afterwards. That was a good memory.
So none of these are traumatic? Kind of, sort of. Drowning, fleas, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, drowning, fleas, seeing someone shit in the woods.
I have a similar story with my cousins that I'm not going to say just because they probably don't want me to say it because they were very young. It involves shitting and pissing in the woods. But like,
oh, no.
Anyways, traumatic events. I had one, I forget now what it was. It's not really a traumatic event, just kind of maybe not fit in with the cool kids, you know. Do you know cheese strings, Matt?
Yeah. Well, love cheese strings.
Yeah, it turns out I'm allergic to cheese strings.
Oh my god, what?
My body can't handle cheese strings. Yeah, I don't know if it's because it's super, super processed cheese. It's like I can't eat processed cheese like very well. Like singles are fine, but like I don't know, when it's like blocks of cheese and stuff like that, like cheese strings or whatever, I can't.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just cheese strings specifically, they have something in them. I don't know. But every time I've eaten them when I was a kid.
Poop story?
No, it's not a poop story. It's the other way around.
Oh no.
It comes out the other hole.
Oh.
Yeah, every time I eat a cheese string, I'd literally throw up like 20, 30 minutes later. So we just kind of realized like, okay, I'm either intolerant to it or something's up. So The last straw was when I puked all over my mom's car. That was the last straw, and then we never bought cheese strings ever again. So they were good. I like cheese strings. I just cannot have them, or else I will puke. So
damn, I'll keep that in mind.
Puked all over my mom's back seat of the car, my little booster seat.
I have a similar.
My mom thought it was just like car sick, because when I was young, I'd always get car sick, and even to this day, like I sometimes I'm really car sick, especially when I'm like on my phone or like reading or something. I just can't do that. In a car. But like when I was young, it would be car sick like all the time, Oh, I have another traumatic event after this story. So my mom thought it was just like car sickness, but then after more experiments, we were enforcing the scientific method at a young age. In my head, we concluded that it was indeed the cheese strings that were the constant here, and that I would puke after every cheese string that I ate. But next traumatic event, and this one,
tragic.
This one is instilled a phobia in me that to this day I've still not conquered.
Oh.
Well, I'm not scared of, but I've just never I've never like done it ever again. So, I don't know if I am still scared or not, but whatever. It's when I was little. We went to like the largest mall in Canada. Like, fuck, is it? Either it's in
West Edmonton.
It's in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. The second largest mall. It was in Quebec. This one was in Quebec because we went camping. So it was like the second largest mall in the world, or not in the world, but in Canada, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a huge like it's huge. Like there's go-karts in it, like zip lining, like a Ferris wheel and shit like that. Like it's a massive mall. Yeah. And this is my first experience on a roller coaster. And man, did I fucking cry like a motherfucker when I hopped on that roller coaster. My mom kind of forced me on it. I was with her, but then I cried the whole fucking ride, and I fucking never wanted to go on a roller coaster ever again. And that was my phobia from a young age, was roller coasters. Because that one was like, it didn't really do like the full like loops, but still like when you're like 6 or whatever age I was, I fucking got terrorized, and like it went in the dark at some spots, so I'd like piss my pants even more. Like basically terrorized from there on in, and that was my traumatic event. That was the start of my Joker phase.
That's something I don't miss about like childhood and growing up in general, is like everything you're experiencing is either like the first time you've experienced it, or it's like the most you've ever felt. So like if you're upset, it's like, this is the saddest I've ever been in my life, or like angry or like scared, right?
That's our core memory set in, man.
Yeah, exactly. But like now as an adult, you can like, I don't know, rationalize that shit.
What's the oldest core memory you remember, Matt? What's the oldest memory you remember?
Shit. Oh, actually, this is another good story. I was being a fucking brat. Like I was being I think I was like 5 years old.
Nothing's changed.
Shut up. I was being the biggest pain in the ass, and I was just having like a shitty day, and like everything was,
I love that
like,
self-reflection and maturity, Matt. You're self-aware now that you were being a fucking piece of shit when you were a kid.
I was a kid. I was 5 years old. And
yeah,
I was just,
exactly.
I was like inconsolable. Like everything was making me cry, and like, when you just feel irritated or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
I was just being a little bitch, and then my parents went out for shopping, and they brought me home a CD, and it was Aqua. Like, this is the band that sings Barbie Girl.
Oh.
So like, this is a core memory, not only of like me being a kid and just like having my entire mood shift, but also like a gay memory. Because I can still recite that entire album, like first song to the last song.
Wow.
Another core memory from when I was a kid. My brother was big into wrestling. I feel like you would get along with my brother a lot. And actually, our friends of the family, like, their daughter, who like was old enough to babysit us, like they were significantly older, and their daughter was like in their teens when my brother and I were kids. She was friends with like a lot of the famous wrestlers, and I think I still have it somewhere, but a sheet with like signatures from like The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, like just all of like the super old wrestlers at that, like when they were super super popular at the time. Where was I
I'm
going?
jealous.
Oh yeah. If I could find it, I'm gonna ask my brother and see if I can give it to you.
Aw, thank you, Matt. But now we just admitted my guilty pleasure to the entire fucking internet.
Oh, like we haven't done that in the first 12 episodes. Anyway, so my brother was big into wrestling. I like not so much because I don't know. I just didn't care. And
Sneaky man in their underwear, Matt.
I mean, now, yeah. But I remember this one time my brother choke slammed me through a coffee table. And like my parents were so upset and like they were so mad, but like I was perfectly fine. Like I didn't get hurt or anything. Like I just thought it was like the funnest fucking thing ever.
My brother and I would always do that, but like in our pool, like when we used to have our pool.
Oh yeah.
Every time we go in the pool, it'd just be a WWE match the entire fucking time. That's all we'd do. We'd like power bomb each other off like the stairs into the water, or like
yeah.
Like we had like giant floaties, like giant like duck floaties, whatever you want to call them, that you can stand on and like we'd push each other off or whatever, just all the time, like perpetually. That was the pool.
It's what brothers do.
Exactly.
But yeah, he choke slammed me through a coffee table, and like it was fucking hilarious. My parents were so mad at him, but like,
well, the fucking coffee table broke. Don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably it.
The coffee table broke.
But like going back to your puke story in the car, I also have a puke story in the car.
I think every kid has a puke story in the car.
True. This was back when McDonald's had pizzas. So like I'm dating myself on how old I am.
Oh my fucking god, Matt.
Yeah. So we had just gone to McDonald's and like I was eating my pizza in the car or whatever. Not safe. It was, Anyway, I like ate it and then we were still on the way home, but I was immediately sick. And I made no notion of telling my parents that like I wasn't feeling good, but like it literally just came out of the blue. Like I ate it and then like 2 minutes later I felt sick. And I remember like I was also sitting in like a booster seat and I was like, I can't take it anymore. And then I just started throwing up like all over the van. And like my parents were like obviously upset because I was like throwing up everywhere, but they also thought it was the funniest thing because like just out of nowhere I was like, I can't take it anymore, and I started throwing up.
Wow.
And like I threw up like in the bag of food. Like there was no food in it, but like, and then I remember like the bottom of the bag broke because there was so much vomit. It was so disgusting. But that's what kids do, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. My core memory, and it's a weird memory.
Yeah.
When we were I must have been like 4 or 5 at the most. My brother was like only 3 at the time. We were 4, so we went to like a professional photo taker, like a photography place, like take family photos. Mm-hmm. And this was in the Sears, like where the Sears was in town.
Oh yeah.
Before it closed, in that like general area. I think it was inside the same building actually, but whatever.
My mom worked there for like 12 years.
Wowie. But yeah, I remember this memory. It's my core memory because it took so fucking long. It was like professional, right? So we were all in suits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the lady that did my mom's makeup took 2.5 hours to do my mom's makeup. Even my mom was getting fed up. So like as a 4-year-old kid, I had like literally no patience, especially for like a fucking photo, right? I was losing my shit and like being a little brat and running around with my brother or whatever. That's my core memory because I was probably the most bored I've ever been in my entire life because I was a 4-year-old waiting to take my photo taken for 2.5 hours. It's not really eventful, but it's just my first ever core memory that I remember from the youngest age.
Core memory is boredom.
Yeah, boredom. Probably explains why I'm so monotone now. It's ingrained into my mind now forever.
Core personality trait unlocked. After that event, you were never excited about anything again.
It took all the fucking excitement that I had for life right out of me. What else can we talk about our childhood, Matt? I really, really, really want you to tell me a specific story, Matt, but I know you don't want to say it on the podcast because it's the most embarrassing shit you ever did in your entire life.
What?
It involves fanfics and Naruto.
Oh my god, okay.
Is Matt gonna spill the beans? This is the end of the podcast,
Yeah.
Matt. Our viewer retention isn't this high. No one's gonna be listening.
Yeah. Okay.
But everyone listen now because this is the best story. This is what you signed up for.
No. So it was. I think it must have been grade 6. It was when like Naruto was just getting popular. A lot of people's like first, if it wasn't Dragon Ball Z or like Sailor Moon, or like Naruto was people's like gateway into anime, I guess. Anyway, so me being, how old would you be in grade 6? Like 12, 13. Me and my friends had our like little OCs, our little original characters that we would like, pretend to be. I guess you would call it role playing nowadays, but like as a kid, that's just literally like what you do. Anyway, so I would write fan fiction, and this is like kind of also a core like queer experience, because I remember writing, like I had a girlfriend at the time, even though I was in grade 6. So like, does it really count? You be the judge. But I remember writing like my OC with Naruto, and it was like not even that bad of a story. I think they just like kind of kissed, and then my character like shuffled his way down to like Naruto's pants, and then I like couldn't stop writing because it was like, oh, this is too like too much or whatever. And I remember somebody in my class stole my book, like my, I don't want to call it like a journal, but like the book that I was like writing my fan fiction in. It was like 2 or 3 days of this book gone missing. And like, so for 2 or 3 days, I was like losing my fucking mind, and I had no idea who took it. And I was so like worried and just like panicking and freaking out every day. And then I guess I know who it is now because they later confessed to it, but I don't want to name names. But they left the book on a desk after class, and one of the teachers found it and looked through it. And I remember seeing it on the teacher's desk, and I was like, fuck. Like, that's my book with gay fan fiction in it, and the teacher has it on their desk. And so I remember going up and being like, hey, that's my book, can I have it back? And then the teacher gave me this like stern talking to about like writing gay fan fiction, and he was like, do I have to tell your parents and all this stuff? And it was like the most traumatic experience I ever fucking had, like to this day. I have never been so embarrassed. Actually, that's not true, but I was so embarrassed, and I like resented this teacher so much. Like I had so much hate for them afterwards, and I was like, I like can't believe you'd out me. I didn't even know what outing was. Like I was like, this was like a couple of years before like sexual attraction and all that stuff like made sense to me or whatever. And I was just embarrassed and like humiliated. And I don't think he never talked to my parents about it or anything. Like nothing really come of it, but I remember like hating him for like the rest of elementary school. And I was like,
I have 2 similar stories to that.
I hope the worst thing happens to you. And then like, I think it was the next year he had this like stomach ulcer or this weird heart problem. And I was like, I can't help thinking it was my doing.
Yeah, I have 2 similar stories like that. One of them is like related to like the inappropriate content in the books, and the second one is being
schoolyard contraband.
Yeah, and I think I told you this one like outside of the podcast. Have I? Hey, about the comic book.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, I had a Watchmen comic book that I brought to school because I was a big comic nerd when I was a kid, and I still am to a certain extent. But anyways, and the Watchmen comic had a sex scene in it, so I decided to show all my buddies at recess. And the fucking gym teacher saw it and took the book. And then I was scared that he's gonna tell my parents because I was gonna get into like complete shit. But like, I and luckily for me, he gave it back at the end of the day and just told me not to bring it back to school ever again. So that was my
That's good.
another core memory. And then another one that's similar to like diary or writing own stories or whatever. When I was like really young, like first grade, second grade, I guess, when I was able to write, I guess, I was like, I actually had an imagination and creativity. You know, my left side of my brain was popping off. So like at recess, we'd always like, I mean, all kids do it. Like they, like I don't want to say RP, but like you play games where you like play a character or whatever at
That's
recess.
what you
whatever.
do as kids.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Play.
Exactly. And I would like, what we would do, we would like continue the story at like each recess, right? And then I would actually like go home and like continue the story in this little book that I had. And I would write like more and more of the story. We would pretend like we were like hunting monsters or whatever. I have no idea. That was our little story when we were a kid. And that's what I did.
That's not cringy. That's literally what kids do.
Yeah, but writing the book is kind of cringy.
No, it's not. That's how you like foster growth, and that's how you become a writer. I mean, obviously you didn't take that route, but like, you know, that's what could have happened.
Yeah, now I'm in Joker phase.
We're all in the Joker phase.
There's one more thing I wanted to bring up. I forget now. It was another story related to school that you made me think of from a young age. Did you go to public school?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna ask what your experience was like at Catholic school. If you went to Catholic school.
Do I seem like someone who went to Catholic school? Is that what you're telling me?
No. I just didn't know.
I do remember that like we all hated the Catholic school kids.
Yeah.
And, like, it wasn't until like the last couple of years of high school that we like got along with the Catholic kids.
What was your favorite topic in school, man? What was your favorite little subject?
What
class did you wake up? What day did you? What class did you want to do when you woke up in the morning?
In like elementary school, it was science and like biology, and then in like the later years, like 6th, 7th grade, it was like sociology. And then in high school,
that's when the gays started coming out.
Yeah. And then in high school, it was English and creative writing.
Yeah, okay.
And
we saw the perfect transition there from like a kid with no sexual orientation to like being gay.
Yeah, and then I remember, I think it must have been grade 12, but like at the end of the year, if you had like the highest marks in the class, you would like you'd get money for it or whatever. And I just remember getting money for like having the highest marks in the writing class. So
wow,
the teacher also loved me, and I loved the teacher. Like,
that's ready to be an author.
Well, I've always liked writing, but I don't know, don't have the attention span.
Because you've been brainwashed by social media, Matt.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. Like I can.
If a video doesn't end in 8 seconds, you don't want to watch it.
Exactly.
I could see you write a story, Matt. You would do a good job writing a story.
Do you want to read my gay fan fiction?
Matt, I already know what your Tumblr account is. I don't need to. I don't need to go read that. Okay, well, that was a good trip down memory lane, Matt.
I roasted my ass.
And I'm sure you have some DeviantArt account somewhere that I can find.
No, I don't. I never got into art.
Stop fucking lying to me, Matt. You have a DeviantArt account.
Do I? I don't think I do.
I gaslighted you like in 5 seconds, Matt.
Well, no, because like I remember back as a kid, I would make an account on everything. So I'm thinking like, did I even make an account? I don't think I did.
Did you play? Speaking of accounts, did you play all those classic games as a kid, like Comp Penguin, Webkins, Neopets, all that shit?
No, Neopets for a bit.
No Webkins?
No, actually, it was funny. I had a friend who I'm still kind of friends with in like first year of college. It was like her and another friend of hers were like, let's start Neopets. So we were just like,
Ew.
we were in our first year of college playing Neopets on some days in the middle of class. But yeah, no, I think there was one. It was like Gaia Online before it became super sexual or whatever, or IMVU. One of them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but no, I didn't really play like online community games like that.
Okay, well, that's one last question before we actually go to our user question.
Yeah.
Or not user, but viewer question. I keep saying user, viewer. What do you have any movies that as a kid that were like your go-to movies that you loved, like core memory from a movie?
Okay, my favorite movie as a kid was Batman and Robin.
Ooh, good
like
choice,
the one with Poison Ivy and Bane. Bane.
Yeah.
But like, you want to talk gay awakening? Like, hello.
Yeah.
What about you? Favorite movie as a kid?
Me as a kid, it was definitely like Spy Kids 3D.
Really?
Yeah, Spy Kids 3D and like Shark Boy and Lava Girl to a like lesser extent were my go-to movies as a kid.
That's so funny because I remember being like just old enough that those seemed lame to me. Like, as a kid. Yeah,
that's the age difference right there. And then and like looking at it, looking back at it now, it has aged terribly. But like it was still my go-to movies as a kid. And I remember like I would always bring the movies to school to watch on like snow days and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was like my go-to movie. I don't know why. Yeah, that's pretty much my core movie. My go-to movie.
I'm trying to think of other movies I liked as a kid. Like, I can't.
Barbie?
Other than no. Although you want to talk a Barbie story, this one time I got a Barbie in a McDonald's Happy Meal, and like, again, talk about core gay awakening moments. I mean, I would always like take Batman's cape off and like put it around Barbie's waist and like make it like a dress. But yeah, Barbie. I had one Barbie with all my action figures. Oh my god, action figures! How did we talk about this whole thing and not talk about like toys?
Oh yeah, toys. Well, me for toys. Well, I'm pretty sure I had a bit of everything, to be honest. I remember I had a huge bin full of Lego when I was a kid. A huge bin full of Hot Wheels and Hot Wheels tracks. When I was peak wrestling fan, I had like millions of wrestling figures.
Yeah.
I had like go-kart toys. I was pretty upper middle class, spoiled brat. So and whatever toy Nerf.
Yeah.
When I was really young, I had a VTech, like a little VTech machine. That was my favorite video game actually when I was a kid. When I was like a real kid. When I was a young kid. Like before I got my PS2 and my Game Boy and I had a VTech. You don't know what a VTech is?
No.
It's like this like Leapfrog. You know what Leapfrog is?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
VTech is like another toy, like electronics toy kid company, and they made this like little portable thing that looks almost like a. Did the Game Boy Advances look like that before? Like not the game, like.
They were square and they like flipped open.
No, Game Boy Advances didn't flip. No, Game Boy Color didn't flip open. Yeah, the Game Boy Color was the one that didn't flip open, right?
Yeah. It was the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance, and then the Game Boy Advance SP flipped open.
Yeah, but the Game Boy Color is still vertical. I'm talking about.
Yeah,
there was a Game Boy. There was a Game Boy that was like horizontal. You held it horizontally.
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it was like that.
And Advance.
Okay, yeah. The VTech was like that. And anyways, there's a Batman game on there, but it's all about learning, right? But like, so before you could beat any bad guy's ass, you had to like do a multiplication or a division or something like that. So I would just love that game because it was my first
introduction to video games.
No, introduction to, like beating ass, like in violence, like in video games. And as a 4-year-old kid, I fucking love that shit. So I was like, let's go. So that's how I learned multiplications and divisions and all that shit.
You're only good at math because of violence. Did you ever play like Math Blaster?
No.
It was basically like these kids, and it was like kind of like a point and click, but like for each like in order to progress, you'd have to do math problems, and it was like side scrolling like platformers, but like math problems in order to keep going, and you'd like blow up aliens and stuff. It was like really, really bad early learning like video games. I hate
when I was young, we did the typing games at school all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there was these typing games. There was like this huge company that they had a contract with.
Yeah.
And it was like a program that was on the computer that you had to open up, and then it was like typing games. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. I never had to do that.
Wow.
I think I was just like a little older that like.
Yeah, they still taught you how to type on a typewriter and cursive.
They did teach us cursive.
Same here. I was like the last generation of cursive. My brother didn't learn it, and he's only 2 years younger than me.
That's crazy.
So I was like the last generation of cursive learning, but he still knows how to do it. We don't use it ever, but I know how.
He does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pretentious white girls writing cursive. Yeah. I think that's a good point to end off, Matt. Time to go to our viewer question. Jesus Christ.
Our user question.
Yeah, our viewer question. This one's pretty straightforward. Again, for people who don't know, you can ask your questions on the Spotify description of the video. There's a little tab for Q&A as well as poll. And you can ask them on the YouTube comments, or you can ask them on social media on any thread that you find of ours. Post a comment, we'll see it. Don't worry about it. So yeah, this question, very simple. It's 4 words, Matt. You may be able to answer this one a bit better than I can, depending in what way we want to take the question. We can take it in multiple ways. The question is bigger always better?
No.
That's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. So bigger is not always better.
It's not the size of the hammer, it's the nail you're throwing it at.
It's not the size of the ship, it's the
motion of the ocean.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And in a non-sexual setting, bigger is not always better either. But
I mean, yeah, no, bigger is not always better. Like
rarely better. It's rarely better.
Yeah, exactly. Is that ever
in any
the
setting?
case?
In any setting.
Exactly.
Because like having a bigger house than what you need is useless, and it's more work.
Okay.
A bigger
I could
car.
get into this. Maybe next week we'll talk about it. But the only reason why big houses are a thing is because back in the day, estates used to be like the places that people would come to visit, and people would come to visit for like months at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why, and that's why these houses, like old Victorian mansions and stuff like this, have so many like spare vacant rooms, is because you would anticipate other like whole ass families coming to visit you for periods of time.
I mean, guest rooms are starting to become a thing of the past because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like now in modern settings, like that's why rich people have empty houses, but like it's just lost on them because
they
don't have people over.
I'm trying to think of something where bigger is better. I mean, money, bigger pile of money is always better. I'll take that. I mean,
chop your head off.
That's the only thing I can think of where bigger is better. Ass.
That's true.
We found it. We found the answer. Feet. Bigger feet.
No, because bigger shoes are expensive.
True. Bigger. When is bigger better, Matt?
Just ass. I think that's it.
I think that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And that's it for this episode. We're just under the 1 hour mark. I think we're good to wrap, Matt, unless you had something else to say.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, we'll wrap. Matt's a little tired boy. He didn't have an energy drink today.
I do have one thing to say.
Matt.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say something too. Matt's a little tired boy, first. But we're already going out tonight together. We're going to come back with a little sit rep next week. We're going to give our little review of Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah.
We're going to go see that piece of shit movie tonight. It's probably going to be terrible, but we're going to let you know how it is. next week we'll drop our little official review on the Mildly Ignorant podcast,
Woo!
the #1 review site in the world. So stay tuned for that.
I'm excited. It's gonna be so bad.
Hopefully, Mr. X is gonna be in it.
Hopefully, we got to make our bingo cards. But what I was gonna say more so relates back to the episode, and I'll try to keep it brief. But I feel this way, and I think everybody should feel this way when you're looking at yourself, like looking at yourself as a child. I bear no ill will towards who I used to be, and you shouldn't either, because you were just learning, and you were growing, and you were doing the best you could, and you could not be who you are today if you weren't who you were then. So whenever you're like looking at your past, do your best to frame yourself in like a positive light, because you'll just be so much more of a happier person if you can love yourself in the past. It really opens up the door to loving yourself, like now, who you've become.
Wow, man! Look at that maturity. Look at that words of wisdom from Matt over here.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
very some anti-cancel culture mentality right there, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Sure. I mean, people make mistakes. People are assholes. But people learn and grow, and how the hell can we expect more and the best out of people if we like go at them when they're ignorant?
You have to be perfect right out of the womb, man. That's the only way now.
No, that's not true.
If you punch a kid at recess in kindergarten, you're evil.
Love yourself. Look back on yourself with love, and do the same thing for other people too. Everybody was a kid, and not everybody is as mature or emotionally mature as you are now.
But also think about it in a healthy way. If you did some cringy shit, just own up to it.
Oh, of course. Always own up to it. Also, like, learn and grow from it.
Matt's learned from his Naruto fanfic days, okay?
I learned how to get a lot of hits on fanfiction websites.
I'm going to find that DeviantArt account after, man. Don't worry.
I mean, it's not hard. You know where to find me. I've been using this same name since I've been on the internet. So
same here, buddy. Back to my PSP days. Anyways, we'll wrap here.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode. Our unlucky episode 13. Nothing happened, thankfully. We still have to edit this episode, though.
True.
If you're seeing this episode go up on Friday, that means we were successful. The files didn't accidentally get deleted or corrupted after editing. So yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on social media at the Mildly Ignorant Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can listen to us on all major audio platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Radiocast, Radio Friendly, Breaker, Stitcher, you name it, we're on it. Same with YouTube. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Even if you're not going to listen, just drop a subscribe. It's going to help us out. It's going to bring us up the algorithm.
Yes.
Make us more available to everyone. Same thing for those listening on Google and Apple Podcasts. You can give us a review, so please give us a review. 5 stars, please. It'll help us. It'll feed the algorithm. And again, thank you for tuning in week in and week out. And we'll see you all next week for episode 14.
14.
Bye-bye, everybody.
2 weeks. 2 weeks worth of podcasts. Like, that's crazy.
2 weeks? What are you on about? What, tweaks?
14? What? 1 days? Never mind.
Oh, wait, you mean like 14 days I was doing a podcast, like recording a podcast?
Yeah.
That's so complicated, man. Shut up. Okay.
That's how my brain works. I'm sorry.
Just
okay,
say 3.5 months. Bye.